The event industry is worth $1.6 trillion globally. But most people that enter into the industry have no clue as to where to get started inside of the industry. There's a lot of different lanes, but you are curious as to which lane you should explore. Loving events isn't just enough to be able to thrive in the event industry. Don't fall victim to burning out because you're trying to do a little bit of everything and not actually doing the thing that you're extremely passionate about exploring. So today, I'm going to break down the 6 main segments of the event industry for you to be able to have clarity as to which direction you want to go. It's time to stop guessing and to start going into the right direction. Because once you know your lane, you can position your brand, attract clients that you're desiring, and build systems that will help make a sustainable business. I'm Jessie with Greeneyed Ambition, where we talk about the unsexy things about having a business in the event industry so we're able to grow and scale into multiple 6 and 7-figure brands. So let's get into it. The first segment is corporate events. Corporate events drives the professional side of the event industry. You have to think about conferences, product launches, brand activations, award galas, networking nights, and retreats. That is all encompassed inside of corporate events. So this specific part of the industry is a 330 billion global segment and continues to grow as companies invest in their brand to be able to market and attract the clients in which they want to attract. And it also includes employee engagement when we're thinking about corporate events. So if you love organization, logistics, purpose-driven experiences, this might be your lane. In fact, my business has been in the corporate vein now for 15 years, and I absolutely love it. It's not just about doing parties. You're helping companies and brands connect and celebrate their wins or to get the return on investment when it comes to bringing awareness about their specific brand. Some of the most popular corporate events are going to be product launches, award galas, retreats, and conferences. When we talk about corporate, this doesn't only have to be the top Fortune 500 companies. Corporate can be on a local scale when it comes to you doing business for corporations. So when it comes to corporate events, it is all about what is their intention with that specific event. Where sometimes with some of the other ones I'll be mentioning later on, it may be to evoke an emotion, where often with corporate, it is in regards to a return on investment and an initiative in which they're looking to launch. In fact, you'll find that a good amount of corporate is going to be geared towards B2B or business to business relationships and is heavily ROI focused. It's not just doing an event that's going to be it being pretty. In fact, the reason why I lean more into the corporate vein is because it's not about making sure it's the right shade of red and green and all those things that tend to be in the wedding and social events side of it. It's all about what is the intentional goal of that specific business when it comes to them hosting that specific event. So for brand activations, it may be having social visibility where they may want to have these moments where people are going to be creating social content to bring more brand awareness. For some people, when they're doing events, they may be looking to increase followers, getting sales. The intention behind that ROI will range from business to business. Corporate clients really truly care about efficiency, the brand alignment, and measurable outcomes. If it cannot be measured, they are not really inclined to really want to do it. It's all about knowing what can they expect by working with you or by hosting that specific event. It's really also going to be key for you to have a strong communication and systemized processes. With corporations, they will spend thousands of dollars with you. But if you're not organized or you don't present yourself as a professional, it may potentially create some uncertainty about making a decision to work with you. This is why I highly recommend investing into CRMs and looking into processes. This does not mean have everything perfectly thought out right now. This is to think about how do you make it so that people are building trust by working with you and you're leading them along the way and making sure that it's a pleasant experience for them. It's super important to do that because with corporations, I hear a lot of people that often on TikTok, I'll have people that will reach out saying, Jesse, I'm really trying to get more into corporate events. How do I get into corporate events? The key to really having a space in corporate events is building trust and making sure that you're not just focusing on yourself, but focusing on the goals of your clients and building a portfolio so that you're able to attract the type of clients that you want. And learning how to really learning how to master retention, because you can have clients that are working with you year after year. In fact, I have some clients that have worked with me 13 years, and it's been great because I've not just focused on the one-time experience. I've focused on the continual relationship and making sure that I know what the problems are of my client and creating solutions for them along the path in this journey. So the main takeaway about corporate events is that corporate events are all about strategies and systems. If you can't connect creativity with corporate goals, you'll always be in demand. The focus isn't only about the pretty, it's about the results of your client. The second type of event is social and private events. In fact, I find when I look at social media, that seems to be a heavy vein that people are actually in. So when we're thinking about social and private events, these are really going to be geared towards emotional and milestone driven experiences like weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, galas, and charity events. And how this separates itself from corporate events is because this is really driven by personal connection and storytelling. The average wedding alone can cost around $30,000 in America, meaning that there's some serious money that's involved, and personalization and premium services are key. I love the direction in which social and private events are going. I find that the industry is truly diversifying in the lanes that you can actually occupy. Like from caterers at one point, I feel that there was different styles of food, but now you're actually seeing like different types of catering or food services. So it's not only doing the full service banquet kind of catering, you now have people that specialize in doing elote food carts, or you have people that are doing nothing but dessert. Like it's not only as formal as it used to be. Now there's a lot of flexibility to be able to express your creativity and having the ability to separate yourself from the rest. When it comes to social and private events, it comes down to the emotional impact. It's not just logistics, and it's not always going to be as stiff as a corporate event. I feel that social and private events are heavy on feelings, where people are focusing on how do my guests feel? Are they feeling that we're different and they're having these moments and they're having fun and all those different things? So it's very emotionally driven. And with it being emotionally driven, it can also impact how your clients are going to have that emotion when it comes to working with you as well. Like I did a few personal events and like 15 years ago, and I was like, never again, because it's very emotional. Where with corporate events, people just sign contracts and then they're like on to the next thing. Like there will be some maneuvering and things of that nature, but it is definitely not like how weddings or private events are. So with it being emotionally connected, you do want to be very present to that. So you do want to make sure that your brand voice and your visual design are key, and you're expressing that when you're attracting your clients so that they understand how you actually like execute your services and how you can make their day special. So inside of the private space is all about referrals, and that can really help with the lifeline inside of your business. Where in corporate, it can be very heavy on client retention, where sometimes when it comes to like a wedding planner, unless someone is always getting married, which I hope that they're not, is like they may only work with you once. So you want to be able to get referrals from people so that helps with building your business. And that's why it's all about having a great client experience, because that is directly aligned to what your reputation is inside of your local market. So reputation is key inside of your private event sector. So this is why I always recommend for people that do private events to think about how you're going to have clear communication for smooth delivery when it comes to providing your specific service. It doesn't matter if you're a DJ, a planner, balloon artist, or anything like that. You want to have clear communication so that you're one, making sure that you don't have scope creep inside of your business. And then it also helps with ensuring that your client knows what to expect. Because I said before, when it comes to private and social events, it's heavy emotion. And you don't want it to be that someone signs a contract with you and they're micromanaging you because you don't have clear communication, and you're not able to really truly build that trust or protect your business. So the main takeaway that you think about when it comes to social and private events is going to be that social events thrive on connection and trust. It's all about building emotional experiences, and your business will grow through word of mouth, which can really help with making sure that each client that you work with has the potential of being able to recommend more people to your specific business. The fourth type of event is going to come down to cultural and entertainment events. It's all about festivals, concerts, and cultural celebrations that make up the most creative and chaotic segments of our industry. I love a great concert, but it is massive. And if you're someone that loves to do really big activities, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. So in 2024, the global music festivals alone generated over 20 billion in revenue, 20 billion in revenue. And these events require strong vendor engagement and management, sponsorships, and logistics. And when I share this is important for you to know because it's not just being the planner. There are people that work in this segment that specifically specialize in vendor management and project management. So you don't have to be the one that does it all when it comes to really any of them, but definitely when we're talking about cultural events or entertainment events. There are people that specialize in sponsorships and they get paid really well when they're able to solve that problem for the company that they're working with. Collaboration is key when it comes to this specific segment because one person can't do it all. When it comes to private and social events, you may have someone that is a event planner for baby showers. You can potentially do all of that all on your own. I don't recommend it, but some people do it. But when it comes to you doing a concert, you need a team. So you can either decide, am I creating this team or am I joining this team? And nothing's wrong with working for people or working with people. So I know that some people are like, I want to work for myself, but like depending on the segment you want to go into, you probably will have to work with people. So some examples of this specific segment are going to be your food festivals, art fairs, cultural heritage events, music events, like Coachella. That is a segment of this. I mean, this is a part. So when you think of this segment, think of Coachella. That is going to be an entertainment event. But you also have your local food festivals or your regional events that also aligns with this industry. So when you're thinking about this, you want to think about large scale productions that need teams. So it's all about team management, vendor management, and partnerships in order to thrive inside of this segment. And it is an exciting industry. There's a lot of new innovation that's occurring. So it's not about it being this boring local event. There's amazing installations that I've seen when it comes on social media. So if you are someone that likes to do event design, that is a option inside of this segment. So I'm not talking about all of the roles, I'm talking about the segments because you can have someone that is an event producer inside of this, someone that does event design, vendor management. Again, The list goes on. And if you want me to talk about the different roles inside of the industry, I can do that because I don't think that people understand the difference between an event organizer compared to an event planner, to someone that does event design. And again, the list goes on. I'm not going to take away from the conversation today. Things to consider when it comes down to this specific segment is comes down to local permitting and community engagement. This is all about how do you get people to want to attend. Where when you're doing social events, this is usually going to be family and friends of those that hire you to work. Corporate events, it's usually employees or people that are affiliated with that specific company. This is all about ticket sales and getting people, or not even ticket sales, but just having a fun event that people want to come to. And that takes having a skill set when it comes to execution. In this specific segment, there is an importance on sponsorships and a revenue sharing model because, again, most times there's some type of tickets being sold. There's people paying for vendor booths. Like there is revenue, and it comes down to how is the revenue and the profits shared, or how are we paying people that are going to be providing their services. So the main takeaway when it comes to thinking about this specific segment is that these events run heavy on collaboration and scale. So if you can balance creativity with organization, you'll thrive here. If you're not someone that's extremely organized, I highly recommend not getting into this specific segment or being a part of a team that you can shine how you shine the best. So that is all about your entertainment segment. Fourth segment is all about educational and training events. That has really been blowing up, in my opinion, since the pandemic, because we really saw this big rise in people doing education. I know those of us that have gone to school and things like that's always been a thing. But now the bar has been shifted because when we're talking about educational events, this includes workshops, webinars, professional training sessions, and it often can be overlooked, but it's booming in a lot of areas. And thanks to the rise of hybrids and virtual learning, you've seen this big insurgence due to the pandemic. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of these educators that are in these rooms with all the flat screens and they see all the people faces, and like it's cool to look at, but that is an educational event. So that is all about production. And so according to Statistica, the global e-learning market surpassed $400 billion in 2023. And live educational events are benefiting from that growth. I know that there has been a shift this year for a growth in putting efforts into online learning due to the government stance on foreigners coming into America. So, what some conferences have decided to do is either move their conferences to other countries, or they're doing some online training, or they are switching to a hybrid model so that they're able to still have this wow impact without being concerned about how their ticket sales will be impacted due to a lot of the things that are going on right now here, government wise. So, when you're thinking about the educational and training events, this is going to be your summits, your master classes, skill workshops. Those are becoming really big. And I think that those of you that can really master this and you know how to leverage yourself in a way that you're solving the problem of coaches, consultants, and small business owners, this is going to be an industry part that's going to continue to grow. I'm finding that a good amount of small businesses are really starting to gravitate into doing something educational for those that are asking them, how did you start this coffee shop? How did you start selling bagels? How did you do this bakery? So they're hosting workshops, they're hosting retreats, they're hosting summits, they're doing online courses and things of that nature. So for those of you that know how to attract those people, I think that this is going to be a amazing sector to explore because it's something that even universities are having to lean into. The great thing about this is that this can be both in person or it can also be online, but you're starting to see this nice mixture of hybrid where events are going to be hosted both in person as well as online. So it allows for flexibility of attendees for the clients that will potentially book you. So, this is going to be great for those of you that lean into understanding technology or being a part of a team that specializes in both in person as well as online services. If you're someone that likes to stay on top of how to keep people engaged, this is going to be a great lane for you. So it's important to make sure that you know how to attract those people. It's also important to understand what those clients are going to be needing to want to work with you, which is really kind of like the undercurrent for all of these. Like, it's not just you doing events. I've said this ad nauseum on almost all of the channels that I have, my podcast. I feel that sometimes when people get into events, they're just like, oh, yeah, I just do events. And I'm like, but what problem are you solving? Like, we all solve a problem. And if you're wanting to go into any of these industries, you have to know, or any of these segments, you have to know what is the problem of this specific client. Because if someone is going to hire you to do a summit, what are the challenges around the summit? What's going to help you of getting that client the result so that they feel as if they won and that they were able to succeed at the goal that they had? So just know your audience, understand what, and take the time to understand where the gap is so that you're able to stand out bold inside of that gap so that you're able to be a problem solver to those in your community. So the main takeaway is going to be that educational events are impact driven and scalable. So they're perfect for experts who want to teach and monetize their knowledge. So learning how to be able to supply that client with that solution, you will win. The next segment is going to be about trade shows and exhibitions. These are massive B2B showcases for networking, brand exposures, and deal making. The global exhibition market is projected to reach $50 billion by 2028, and it's where planners handle logistics, vendors, and marketing for a number of exhibitors and thousands of attendees. We've all have probably have attended a exhibit or trade show, but that it takes a special person to be able to organize that. There are some people that are great at this specific segment that are getting flown all across the world to be able to help clients with solving this problem. And they're getting paid really, really well. Because the thing about it is that in order for a trade show to have success, there has to be the right amount of attraction. So the promotion and the marketing, but also making sure that that client is getting the result that they need for hosting this specific exhibit. So when we're thinking about trade shows and exhibits, we're going to be thinking about auto shows, tech expos, bridal shows. Like, there's someone that is organizing the bridal show that you may be setting up as a vendor. So again, you want to not just think of events as this broad thing. In fact, there's all of these small segments that are small, big segments that are a part of this industry. So when we're thinking about having a specialty inside of this specific segment, we can think about booth designs, foot traffic, and ROI. In fact, some of you may be great at doing booth designs because you have a history inside of trade shows and exhibits. So, again, you don't have to only do weddings. It just comes down to knowing where there's growth and how you're going to be able to shine inside of that segment. It's very heavy on event tech when it comes to trade shows and exhibits. So it's thinking through how are you going to be capturing leads, tracking that information, engaging the clients that are needed, so that people are wanting to pay you to be able to either organize it or to be able to create these experiences inside of a trade show. So it can be you actually being the person that's organizing the entire trade show, or you may be the person that someone's hiring so that a team goes in to do a specific trade show. So you can even be working for a corporation, and that could be a great job for those of you that will want to do that as a career. So The thing about this is that you want to be able to specialize in clear processes for setup, breakdown, as well as exhibitor management for those of you that want to get into the organization side of this segment. So, the major takeaway that comes from trade shows and exhibits is that trade shows are about precision and partnerships. You want to be able to systemize logistics to keep chaos under control and sponsors happy because it is heavy on the return on investment and results within this specific segment. And the final segment is all about experiential and brand activation events. What is attractive about this specific segment is that this is the storytelling powerhouse of the industry. It's immersive, it's creative, and is all built on engagement. And brands are investing billions in experiential marketing because it builds emotional connections that drive sales and builds up trust of their customers. So think pop-up activations, influencer events, and interactive product launches. You're seeing more and more of those types of events, and it's ranging from small to grand events. So it's all about emotional engagement and shareable experiences. Experiential events are really expanding in their creativity, where it's not just Nike is hosting this or Starbucks is hosting this one event where people are just drinking coffee. No, it's really getting into a place where you're telling a story about that specific launch that will drive an emotional experience for those that attend that specific event. So this is all about storytelling. The cool thing about this segment too is that it's all about tech integration, where you're seeing a lot of really cool things that have been coming out, and AI. What you'll find is that this segment is heavy on innovation and thinking outside the box. So this is where you really want to focus on brand consistency and the customer journey when it comes to being a creative inside of this segment. This segment does require creative direction and systemized execution. Due to a lot of the innovation that has been expanding inside of this segment, it has really actually piqued my personal interest since I already have all the years of experience with doing corporate organizing. I'm thinking that this would be a really great parallel jump for me within this next section of life. The main takeaway I want for you to have is that experiential events are marketing in motion. So if you can merge strategy, design, and storytelling, you can attract some top tier brands and be on some top tier teams. You can make a lot of money inside of this industry if you're someone that can truly be client focused and understanding what someone's goals are when it comes to their activations. So now that we've gone through the 6 segments, I want to hear from you. Which lane do you fit in? Comment below, because once you know your lane, you can refine your brand message, charge a premium price, and systemize your client experience so that you are able to have the type of business that you're truly desiring. If you're someone that's in the event industry and you're already earning $250,000 or more annually and you're still feeling overwhelmed inside of your business, I recommend for you to book your free business system assessment with my team at GA Systems, where we focus on helping you with creating the system to be able to grow and scale inside of your business. So let us help you with being able to fix your back-end systems so that you're having the right CRM and platform to help you with being able to communicate and execute your events without the confusion. So again, comment below and let me know which segment you find yourself in and which one are you the most curious about stepping into. Until the next time, peace.